In this lesson, we're going to talk about using a systematic troubleshooting process. This is one of the most important skills you'll learn as a PC technician. Why is troubleshooting important? Well, let's start by defining what it actually is. We all know that stuff happens. Hardware breaks, communication stops, software glitches, and errors occur. As the PC technician, it'll be your job to solve these problems so that employees can get back to work. Problem-solving and troubleshooting skills help us identify the source of a problem and correct it in a timely manner with as little interruption as possible. Because some IT problems can be very complex, it's important to follow a best practice methodology when you troubleshoot. You want to start by gathering information. You need to determine exactly what happened. The user that reported the issue is usually your first source of information. They can tell you the symptoms and which error messages popped up. If possible, see if you can get the user to recreate the problem for you. This often helps you solve things faster because you're able to see the exact actions the user took before they got to the hang-up. You also want to determine whether the problem is localized to just one user's system or if other systems are experiencing the same thing. You can gather information by reviewing tickets and logs or testing other systems. You can also just ask other users if they've noticed anything similar. Next, you want to find out if changes were made to the system prior to this happening. Did the user make any themselves? Did they add a new device, install a new program, or visit a new website? Have there been any changes to the environment or network infrastructure that might be limiting resources? Now, before you start to move forward with any actual fixes, make sure that you back up all other user and system data if this hasn't been done recently. If you are done gathering your preliminary information, you can start to establish a theory of probable cause. When you do this, you want to check for the simple and obvious problems first. Check power cords, connectors, and common user errors. You'd be surprised how many times someone just unplugged a power cord or pressed the wrong button. Once you've established your theory, you need to test it out. If it doesn't hold up, go back and return to the previous steps. You might need to gather more information and establish a new theory all over again. At some point, you may determine that you need to escalate the issue, either because you've exhausted your own resources or because you don't have access to the required systems. The best case scenario is that it's just a simple fix, like plugging something back in or rebooting a program. If it does end up being more complex, you might need to create a whole action plan to resolve everything. To create an action plan, you want to consider the fix and take into consideration some of the potential side effects. For example, will the fix result in significant system downtime? Is the resolution best left for slower times of day? Is there a temporary solution you can implement immediately? After you've weighed the side effects, you should receive any needed approval and inform those who are going to be impacted. Then you can fix the problem. Vendor documentation is a valuable resource in these situations. Often, it has quick fixes, diagnostic tools, and tips that can save you a lot of time. After implementing your solution, you want to be sure that the problem has been fully resolved and that your changes didn't cause any new issues. If possible, you obviously want to make any additional modifications that could help prevent the problem from occurring again in the future. After the problem is fixed, ensure the customer satisfaction and explain what you did. You may even want to have them perform the task to make sure that they understand and accept that the problem really has been resolved. Lastly, you should document your findings. Be sure to provide a record of what the problem was and what you did to resolve it. In the future, you can check the documentation to see what's changed or to help you remember the solution you came up with. This will end up saving you lots of time, so you don't want to brush it off or skip this step. That's it for this lesson. In this lesson, we discussed troubleshooting. We reviewed the basic troubleshooting process, which includes gathering information, identifying changes, establishing a theory, creating an action plan, testing the solution, ensuring satisfaction, and documenting the problem and the resolution.